What will be the fantasy football impact of Aaron Rodgers trading the Jets and what it means for Jordan Love and the Packers? It's time to break it down right here and right now as we begin another edition of Locked On Fantasy Football.
Our Locked On Fantasy, your daily NFL fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Locked On Fantasy Football Podcast. As usual, I'm your host, Vinnie Iyer. When I'm not doing this, I'm writing about NFL and fantasy football for sportingnews.com. We do have to have some more draft talk here before teams go on the clock officially Thursday night. We'll have one more show there breaking down in rapid fire what we expect from the 2023 NFL draft. First through third rounds there. I'll break down my mock draft, go rapid fire. Look at what every team is thinking in terms of offensive skill positions to help them in fantasy football. So we'll do that as the final show before the draft, and we'll have some post-draft analysis for you from the first round on Friday's show. So some good draft stuff coming pre and post there, and thinking about what all the teams are going to do while they're on the clock, and then look at the actual picks there as well. So a lot of good stuff to give you here to close the week. But we did need to take a little bit of a pivot and look at the Aaron Rodgers trade. We broke this down way back when to see how he would fit with the Jets, but now we have it official. He's looked at his uniform. He's wearing number 8. He had his introductory press conference, so it's all good to go. It is real. Aaron Rodgers is a Jet all the way. Jordan Love takes over the Packers offense in Green Bay. So we'll look at Aaron Rodgers and what this means for his fantasy football value. Can it rebound after his last disappointing season in Green Bay? Then we look at the receivers, Garrett Wilson and some of the other weapons that are there now as the Jets have remixed that group, including adding Allen Lazard, the former Packer. And if I look at what's going on with Jordan Love here, what the Packers can do to help him, we said he's one quarterback who could really benefit from the draft, what he has now. What do you expect? What is his upside? So we'll break that all down for you on today's show. Thanks again for making Locked On Fantasy Football your first listen today. Subscribe and follow for free wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Special shout out to the everydayers who check out our show all season and off season long here to get the latest insight on fantasy football and beyond. So grateful to you guys. And if you're new to the show, welcome in, and more insight to come in our advanced scouting mode all off season long here at Locked On Fantasy Football. All right, let's dive into Aaron Rodgers. Yes, it is real. He's wearing green, but for a different team. Very similar situation to Brett Favre, really exact same, leaving that great offense for many years, and now he goes to the Jets as his second team. So really interesting parallel there. But the modern parallel I'd like to draw here with this move are really two. Number one, I think, is Tom Brady to the Buccaneers. So you saw he was disinterested this last year in New England. He had that pick 6 against the Titans. We thought he was done, washed. And then he came back big time for the Buccaneers, put up 3 very good fantasy football seasons. They won the Super Bowl immediately as a wild card team with Tom Brady there. Then you have Matthew Stafford as well. The Rams were a contender, but then you go over the top of Stafford. Honestly, I think their defense and the way that Aaron Rodgers or Aaron Donald came together with Jalen Ramsey, I think that's what you saw really help the Rams win the Super Bowl. But to me, the parallel is better with the Bucs because you had a team that was underachieving, didn't make the playoffs for quite some time, had quarterback questions. Well, the Rams were pretty decent. Remember, they had Jared Goff. So I don't think it's a fair comparison to make, but it was a quarterback in his career late, changing teams to go after Super Bowl ring, and it eventually paid dividends, not right away there, but you saw that happen there for Stafford and Brady. So the Jets clearly trying to get this situation going in the same way. In reality perspective, they're trying to win the Super Bowl with this quarterback. So that's how they're approaching it. From our fantasy football realm, we want Aaron Rodgers to put up some pleasing numbers again. And he finished just outside the QB1s last year, which is a bit surprising because the season was a disappointment. He checked out. The numbers weren't usually there. Big transition at wide receiver without Devontae Adams. So eventually adjusted well to Christian Watson. early in the season was Romeo Doubs. Then he had some of his reliable guys in there, including Randall Cobb and Robert Tonyan and some of these people that were in the mix for Green Bay as they try to transition well. But the numbers simply weren't there. I think the Jets' passing game, however, comes with a lot of upside for Aaron Rodgers, and a big reason is the weapons are there. They're going to continue to work on that offensive line. They're targeting an offensive tackle with that first pick now after the trade. So something to look at there as they swap 13 and 15 in this draft, the Packers and Jets. So offensive line help. They've traded Elijah Moore, so now he's in Cleveland. So now you're looking for help behind Garrett Wilson. They did sign Al Lazard, who know really well Aaron Rodgers and him have a good connection, especially in the red zone. So there's going to be some touchdowns to be had with Lazard forming a big target. Don't forget about Tyler Conklin at tight end, as well as CJ Uzomah. These are two very savvy veterans that you can use in the red zone. Aaron Rodgers, I think especially, is going to like Tyler Conklin in the mix. And Breece Hall, very good receiver out of the backfield. Let's hope that his knee injury goes up, not just for the Breece Hall effect here as a potential RB1 with his half point and full PPR leanings here, but also help Aaron Rodgers as another Aaron Jones out of the backfield. So if you start to add it up with Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, you got Lazard, potentially Corey Davis. We'll see what they do in the draft. I think they'll add an Elijah Moore type at least. I have them thinking about Josh Downs of North Carolina there. That's going to be a key weapon. He's a bit Randall Cobb-ish there. Cobb is just too old. They need youth to serve itself on this team. And Jets, again, they made some signings and moves last year that sets up Rodgers well. Again, look at Conklin, Uzomah, Wilson, Lazard. These guys weren't here before last season. Now they're all here in the mix with Aaron Rodgers. So I have high expectations for Rodgers as a QB1. His props on most sports books that you'll find is right at the 30 touchdown mark and looking at around 4,000 yards. I think 4,000 yards, we'll see. I still think he'll get there. Some of the shootouts that they'll have, even in their own division with the Dolphins and Tua and the Bills and Josh Allen, there's going to be some numbers to be put up there. So I would not feel totally comfortable about that because the Jets have a dominant defense. They might not do a lot there. They could also run the ball well, Breece Hall, but I think he's going to shoot through that touchdown total pretty well. So I expect 35 plus touchdowns here from Aaron Rodgers. The weaponry is just too good, so that's more than 2 a game if you look at it, with 34 being that cutoff there. So more than 2 a game, 250 and 2 type player. That's what you're going to get from Aaron Rodgers for the most part. Again, there might be games where the passing doesn't go as high, but I do like that situation totally, and I think it's going to really pay off here for the Jets. So Aaron Rodgers as a QB1 back again, yes. It doesn't have to be much to do that, but to shoot back into the top half of the QB1s, absolutely. Every time we knock Aaron Rodgers, keep in mind there was that big rushing season the Packers had, and he was a bit underwhelming. He came back big time with a huge season there. So Garrett Wilson, I think, can be his new Devontae Adams. Al Lazard can be his old Al Lazard. So there's definitely weapons. Get that slot guy, get another big playmaker, and you're in business totally with the Jets and Aaron Rodgers. So again, high-end QB1 potential is there. We saw, again, Tom Brady better there because then Matthew Stafford had some injuries and the production and all that. But Tom Brady, what you saw in that 3-year window there with the Buccaneers, that's the confidence you're going to have with Aaron Rodgers here with the Jets. So I don't think it's an understatement to say the numbers are going to be up there. There's just the situation to put those numbers up, especially with the scoring going up, way up in New York. All right, we'll look at the impact on the Jets' weapons, what they still need to get. So we'll go specifically to see what we can get out of Wilson, Lazard, and Conklin and Hall in our next segment. And we'll also look at the Jordan Love and the Packers. So we'll look at his specific situation, what it's looking like for them without Aaron Rodgers. And the outlook is pretty good there as well. So excited to break that down for you. I'm also excited to tell you about Built Bar. If you're looking for a delicious snack but don't want all the sugar and calories and you need to try the best tasting protein bar ever, it's Built. You got to try this. If you're like me and you want to make healthier snack choices but you don't want to compromise on taste, I've got just the thing for you. Built Bars and Built Puffs. Built Bars are healthy and taste amazing. Seriously, they taste so amazing you won't think they're good for you. You got to try these. And what makes Built Bars so good? Well, for starters, they're covered in 100% real dark chocolate. That's right, real chocolate. They come in unbelievably great flavors such as churro, peanut butter, brownie, and cookies and cream. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better, they're healthy for you. Only 30 calories, 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. Now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering Built Bars at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. while you can still get your specialty flavors at Built.com. That's right. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolate, or coconut puff. If you're close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with hit flavors including Brownie Batter Puff and Churro Puff. You can thank me later. So check out new flavors coming out all the time at Built.com. Take advantage of ordering your bars from there and getting them from your nearest Walmart and Sam's Club. All right, it is time to continue the show here on Locked On Fantasy Football and break down what the Jets have weapons-wise here and what they're going to do with Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback. Make sure you join Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, and other Locked On NFL experts on the Locked On NFL Scouting YouTube page for live NFL draft coverage presented by Ultimate Football GM. Kyle and Joe will be live during all of rounds 1, 2, and 3, and then on Saturday, if they get you caught up after each round. Join the draft dudes and the first round tomorrow night live on YouTube on the Locked On NFL Scouting page starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. Garrett Wilson finished pretty strong as a wide receiver 2 last year, really delivered despite having Zach Wilson and some shaky quarterback play. This kid is special. He's an alpha. He's going to be the Devontae Adams for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm immediately boosting him up to wide receiver 1 status in fantasy. He's going to have a big year, I think, with Rodgers. Rodgers loves guys who can be reliable, run every route, get downfield. Wilson can do all that. So Wilson, let's get it right off the bat out of the way. He's going to be a wide receiver 1, half-point PPR, full-point PPR, standard. It doesn't matter. Garrett Wilson is a special receiver. Now he has a special quarterback who will get him the ball as the go-to guy. Don't forget about Al Lazard. He actually had some wide receiver 3 value because of his touchdown scoring last year in Green Bay. Despite the fact we had Christian Watson emerge there, Lazard was still the guy in the red zone, made a lot of plays. There were some games where the touchdown was pretty much it, but again, that really helped his scoring into that wide receiver 3-2 borderline category last year. So Al Lazard, we can bump up, I think, to wide receiver 2. I think there's enough passing to go around. They subtracted Elijah Moore. I think it'll be even more beneficial if they move on from Corey Davis. We'll see if Davis has any appeal to play with Aaron Rodgers, or do they have to go in a different direction. So I think they'll add a receiver in the draft, and that receiver will have some wide receiver 3 appeal, whether it's Josh Downs of North Carolina or someone else, that type of receiver to replace Elijah Moore. So again, 11 personnel, I think you'll see more of that, but also a good mix of some tight end sets and Tyler Conklin being on the field. So we're going to watch the chemistry develop. Aaron Rodgers just getting warmed up with his teammates. So Tyler Conklin comes into the sneaky backdoor tight end 1 conversation because of the upside. He showed that, flashed it, replacing Irv Smith Jr. a couple of years ago with the Vikings. Now he gets Rodgers, who likes throwing to tight end. Conklin is more of the receiving threat there. Uzama doesn't have much value as a blocking type there, but I think you'll see them not use that 12 personnel much with the 2 tight ends. So Conklin on the field here with the receiver. So right now it looks really good for Conklin because he's the 3rd guy in the pecking order. Right now you would think Davis kind of fading, unreliable to stay healthy. So we'll see how they go there. But I do like Tyler Conklin as a sleeper tight end because of this. And I'm at Breece Hall in the backfield. I think he has Aaron Jones-like potential as a receiver, dual threat type guy. Can score quite a bit as well. So I think Breece Hall's healthy. He's having a monster year 2. I mean, these guys were off to special seasons. Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall were neck and neck for Offensive Rookie of the Year. But then Wilson stayed healthy. He won the award. On the other side, he had Sauce Gardner dominate there. So those elements are going to come to play. And don't forget about the Jets' defense. They're going to play off a team that can probably play with leads. That means more teaming off of the pass rush. That means more turnovers, takeaways for that secondary and back 7 overall. So again, everything gets a boost here. The scoring is going to be up. So you'll get the kicker option. Again, anything with the Jets relation is bumped up here quite a bit. And we said, look, Aaron Rodgers was outside of the QB1s, outside of the top 12. Now he's firmly in the top 5 or 6. So we love it with Aaron Rodgers here in the mix to help all those weapons really succeed for the Jets. So everything up, arrow pointed up for everything that you can get in with the Jets. They're going to be highly appealing here in fantasy football. Again, the division we also like. There's a lot of offensive teams. It's not that old school defensive division. Bills, Dolphins can put up points. The Patriots, there's going to be quite a few shootouts in that division. There's a tough schedule as well where they're going to face the Cowboys and Eagles and Giants and Commanders. So a lot of potential for scoring there as well. So love it all around. Aaron Rodgers, big bump for him with his value in the transition. So it is for all his key weapons that he already has, plus the ones to come with the Jets. All right, we'll break down the final look here of this Aaron Rodgers trade by looking at the Jordan Love side of things here, and I do get excited about that. It's really exciting here to tell you that Locked On NFL Mock Draft Specials here is bigger than ever. Follow along all 32 teams' first pick in a 6-episode Ultimate Mock Draft experience. Only Locked On can deliver. Get in on it before teams go on the clock for real on Thursday night. All episodes are available now for you to consume on Locked On NFL Draft on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. All right, it is time to close the show and look at the Jordan Love perspective of this. We said Jordan Love is a hot sleeper here in fantasy football. Right now, he's a conservative QB2, even though there was knowledge of the Rodgers trade coming. But now you look at the weapons. Christian Watson finished right in between, by the way, Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard with his fantasy football scoring. They're almost right in the middle, smack dab of the scoring. So Christian Watson really came on strong. We know he was a touchdown machine. They're late, kind of playing off Lazard for the Packers, but right now he's every opportunity to be their number one. They're next to Devontae Adams on the outside, so watch out for that. Romeo Doubs, I'm going to cool on because I think the Packers could be in the market for Jackson Smith-Njigba. So I think I'm more interested in that rookie receiver right now than Doubs because Doubs is a little bit limited. He has some durability issues. I think by far you're going to see Christian Watson as a go-to guy, much like Garrett Wilson is with the Jets. And then you're going to look at Jordan Love really trusting in Christian Watson. They had a decent chemistry last year when they flashed together last season. Now you get that key slot receiver that can get open all the field, and Jackson Smith-Njigba is probably the target there early in the draft. They could also look at Jordan Addison, look at Quentin Johnson if they want to stretch the field a little bit more, playing off Watson. But really like if they can end up with one of those receivers, Jackson Smith-Njigba or Zay Flowers, that's a really big bump for Jordan Love. The other thing we're looking for is tight end help. He doesn't have a lot here. I think they'll target a tight end. Is it going to be Darnell Washington or Luke Musgrave later in the draft, or are they going to get aggressive here and go early for one with Michael Mayer and Dalton Kincaid on the board? So, that's going to bump up his value. Another weapon there. You've got the receiving core with upside already with Watson Doubs. You add one more rookie to that mix. It'll be exciting to watch here. You also have Aaron Jones, a very capable outlet pass catcher, as well as A.J. Dillon getting better at that capacity. So we upgrade the third receiver, upgrade tight end, and you're sitting pretty with Jordan Love. He can run a little bit as well to give you some value there. And keep in mind, this team has had a great tradition of fantasy football production all the way back to Brett Favre. I know it's been different types of offenses now with Matt LaFleur, but I think they're still going to be a passing team. Their defense has some liabilities, so they could have some volume in some games for Love as well. So I do like it. Jordan Love here as the choice. Really love his potential with the Packers, no pun intended, with what he can take over there. So Watson, Doubs, new receiver to come, new tight end to come. Jones's pass catching ability, still pretty good offensive line, anchored by David Bakhtiari and Elgton Jenkins. Decent enough weaponry all around. And again, Jordan Love, they wouldn't have made this move, drafted him in the first round while they still had Rodgers if they didn't believe in it. It's very similar to the transition they made from Favre to Rodgers, so another parallel there. They did have to wait about a season to get that true Aaron Rodgers elite production. He was still very good in his first season as a starter. And same thing, he had flashed, in that game against the Cowboys before taking over. And we've seen Jordan Love do the same thing here. So a lot of parallels between the situation. Rodgers going to the Jets like Favre and leaving behind another first-round quarterback taken late here to pick up the reins in Green Bay. So very good parallels to watch there, and we're excited about what can happen. Now, keep in mind, again, don't forget about those two specials here, Locked On NFL Scouting YouTube live show there starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time featuring the Draft Dudes and our mock draft special that you can check out now. Check them out. All 32 teams, 6 episodes there. Check it out. Binge that here before we start the draft or continue with that series. It's fantastic. For Locked On Fantasy Football, this has been Vinnie Iyer. Thanks again for making us your first listen every day. Subscribe and follow for free wherever you get your podcasts. We're part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. Everydayers, thanks so much for listening here, and we appreciate you if you're going to become an everydayer as well. So really excited. We'll have a lot of good draft analysis for you pre and post here in the last 2 shows of the week. For Locked On Fantasy Football, again, this is Vinnie Iyer. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you there as we open it on draft day.